So welcome back to the channel. Glad you came back for episode 72. Going to work a little bit more on trying to get going on this radius arm suspension that we're building for this thing. Now, for this one, I didn't talk a whole lot while I was working, so going to time lapse a lot of it and just kind of narrate over it for you. That way you can kind of see what I'm doing, and I'll kind of let you know if there's anything funny going on along the way. Hope y'all enjoy it. Going to finish up this rear mount and get started on our axle mounts in this one. So I'm excited. Let's get going.
All right, so getting started here. Just like any other time, we're going to start making the back of this mount. Like any other time, we're going to start out by making it all out of cardboard. It would be a lot easier to trim up cardboard, cut up steel. So we'll get out of this cardboard right here and try to see what we can get going. Right here, I'm marking the center line of my hole right here, and so I can line it up with the center line of my board here. Cardboard up here and trace out the shape of my bracket. That way I know where my hole's going to be when that thing overlaps. That all done. I'm stick it up here and kind of figuring where I want to put my little bend in it right here. Extend my line. And we use that to kind of put a little spot in there to so I can bend it. Flex her down to my frame. Look at that. Eureka. Nice little bend there to my frame. Kind of finish my line up right there. Now we got our shape. Quick trim. Yeah, get in here and mark this hole. Dentist tool that I found somewhere. I can mark holes and things like that. Reach in from the backside. We got our hole cut out. We'll get it bent down nice and our frame. See where we want our hole to be there. You see that hole I'm planning to use on the frame already existing. So coming from the backside and out that pin. Mark where he goes. Now let's go make a hole in the cardboard. And enlarge the hole in the frames. Drilling, drilling, drilling. Did I mention it's a big hole? Big hole. There we go. Look at that. Now you'll notice it's a little short right here. So see right there, I'm gonna trim that bracket up. Then we'll go back and we'll throw down figure exactly how long I need to extend. I need to make me another piece of cardboard. Ooh, let's see what degree the bend is. Good jump off point there. Thing's a little bit long for what I'm trying to do, but I make it work. I do not recommend, because it doesn't read to 90 and then go around. It's like past 180, and if you started the wrong way, it's a pain in the butt. So now, just like you figured, just like we always do, onto steel, find the straightest part of the steel, lay the flattest, straightest part of the cardboard on it. Now come back, straighten up my little handmade lines there, see what I can come up with. My trusty block of wood here for my cutting guide. Actually worked really good. Helps if you turn the plasma cutter on. Now I'm sure there are a lot of other, better guides that you can use that you can get rolled on cutter, but I got a lot of wood laying around, so that's what worked. Lay them together. Very nice. See right there, that little extension with that angle. Went ahead and measured and added that. when I cut it out to the bracket that's there. So this is where I marked where the bends have to be brake. I marked the wrong side the first time. Would have been bad. I got to make 2 of them anyway. Now, here we go with this. Still learning this press brake, how to use this exactly. This is only the second or third time I use it. I was trying to learn how to do this thing, and I wasn't 100% sure on exactly what the bend needed to be. So I just kind of bent it a little ways and went and checked it. Then bent it, went and checked it. But it did bend this piece of a quarter plate very easily. So now we'll get our bend started going the other way here. You can see how sure I am with this. Thing about 5 degrees. Kind of over there to make sure it's bending in the right spot. So we have to come back and get it all squared back up. That little guy right there is super handy. Back again, gotta bend it a bit more. Like I said, if I had a better angle finder to use on the side like that, if it was shorter, it would work better. This ain't gonna go.
All right. So, believe it or not, I did pretty good. I got that thing pretty close. Close enough I can certainly clamp it up here and mark some bolt holes, and we can kind of bolt it in place, see what we're working with. Let's turn on a little light here. So, this is what our bracket turned out looking like in the end. This is the end that's going to go right here. Obviously, this goes against the frame. So I went ahead, I sprayed me a little flat black paint on there. So I'm going to stick her up on here. And you already guessed it. I'm going to put me a clamp on it. As soon as, let me go get me a quick grip. So I'm going to put it up here and hold it in place with a quick grip. And I'm going to stick that bolt through from the back side to mark this hole. That's my plan. And then we'll see how that works out. I'll start here. So far it looks like it sits up there really nice. I'm actually really happy with it. It comes nice and level with the end. So I'm going to go ahead and once I get it all done, I'm going to weld and burn it in here. And then on the back side, I'm going to cut this off here. I'll weld them together across the top. So it'll all be one big bracket. Should look really nice, I think. I mean, not that it looks, you know, make it any stronger, but it is stronger. So that's always nice too. All right, so look like we're sitting good everywhere. Sitting good up here. Yes, sir. So now, stick my bolt through here. Spin it around a few times to mark my hole. Fuel line right in the damn way. I can still get in here and get to it though. So that should be marking my hole nicely. Hopefully. I can't even see it. I'm just entrusting that it is. Let me get the really long one. This should be marking out now. You don't have to push really hard when you do this because you don't want to move your bracket. You just, because that little spray paint I put on there, it's not going to stick worth a crap anyway. So you just kind of push it hard enough to kind of scratch that up. So let's see what we got here. Let's see if I marked it. Hope so. Oh, heck yeah. I'm not sure if you can see that in the light. Perfect hole mark right there. Perfect mark right here. So I'm gonna go drill these real quick and then we'll come back and see if we can bolt this thing together. All right, so here we go. It's the next day. Here is our finished product. I went ahead last night and then hung this up and I threw some Rust-Oleum black paint on there. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I mean, it came out fantastic. You know, all the bolt holes, you know, not slotted or anything. Everything lines up the way it's supposed to. It'll bolt on there like a factory part. I mean, all welded up nice. Be really good and strong. I'm really happy with how my bends came out and everything. I really couldn't be happy with how that turned out. So now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna whip up the one for the other side and get it all ready to go. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make the little pieces to add to the bottom of the body mount. I'll go on and weld those on, throw some black paint on that. So we'll come back, bolt these bad boys on, and then we'll come back and be ready to work on the mount that goes on the axle. So I'm gonna go work on banging another one of these out now. Woohoo! Well, check that bad boy out. It's all bolted in there for the final time. Got the grade 8 hardware on it. Got nylock nuts on the back side with some Loctite on them. Look up in there, you see how our heim joints all sitting in there nicely. Everything bolted right in, lined up like it's supposed to. You can see I got my plate put up there on my body mount, so it's nice and strong and supported. Everything's all good to go. Really excited with how that turned out. So next, move my attention to the axle. Ta-da! So here we are. Several days later, I got the passenger side all knocked out. Pretty much the same process, it was just a little bit narrower, making the piece where it sits back up in there. Because, you know, like I said, the motor's offset in here, so the cross members made different. But got that all wrapped up, so now I'm going to get the axle back under here, and we'll talk about what the next step is here. Now I got to get my templates made that will go right here for my link arm mount. I'm planning to kind of incorporate my link arm mount right here and the bottom side of my airbag mount. So I'm going to draw that out on some cardboard and kind of get a good get a little look at it there first before we start carving her out of steel. So our next step is our axle mounts for the link arms. So I did go ahead and make some cardboard templates. So I started with this guy right here. Whip that up out of some cardboard. Then I did, I had some 1/4 inch thick, I don't know, what is this, masonite press board? I don't know, something like that. Because it's always easier to kind of whip something up out of wood or cardboard if you can, before you go chopping it out of steel, obviously. But this is going to be my starting point right here. This one with the all the way flat top right there, that's going to be the inside mount, the one that's closest to the frame. You see this one is not extended all the way over because at some point my bag mount, I got 3 bolts that go on the bottom of the airbag, and I'm not sure where the bag mount is going to be side to side, so I don't want this to interfere with it. So this is yet again another good idea for why it's good to have stuff like this around, because I can cut it out of this stuff and it costs me next to nothing and almost no time versus cutting it and making it out of steel. So the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to get two of our heim joints here and some bolts. We'll just roughly stick this together. That way we can kind of stick things up in there and see how they look initially. Let's see here, see if I can get this to go my way. All right, there's that. Let me find me some nuts here. There's one. I'm not going to bother with putting washers on this stuff just yet. Like I said, this is just for kind of fitment purposes. Let's just see how everything lines up right before I go cutting it out of steel. So if I can go ahead and make it out of this press board first, it just saves me time. I don't know, yeah, money too, really, because if I screw it up, I don't waste steel at least. So I've got marks made on the axle to show where this inside bracket needs to sit at its innermost point. So we'll go and we'll stick this up there. I did cut or go ahead and cut it so it wrap around the axle. Should fit nice and snug up there so we can get a really good idea for what we're looking like. So we'll cruise over there now and we'll see how it all sits together. Okay, so see where we got our heim joints put together with our piece of wood. Now I've measured out right here 4 3/16 of an inch. This would be where the farthest inside point where our bracket will be. So sit right here. So I'm gonna stick that on here, and then we're gonna let this, we're gonna let the truck down on top of the axle and make sure everything clears good. I mean, all the math adds up and it should clear, but you know, I ain't no mathematician, so there's a chance I screwed this deal up. But we're gonna stick it on there and let's find out. All right, so stick this guy up on here. Line him up right on my line. Luckily, I cut this where it fits tight enough so that I think it'll stay on here by itself. Now remember, I've got the axle set with 3 degrees up angle like it had from the factory. So I'm gonna try and set this at 0, the top of this, that way all things are equal here. Let's see how well I can go about that. Right after I knock that nut off right there. All right, that's actually 1 degree, so I'm happy with that. That will be good enough for, you know, good enough for the girls I date anyway. We'll put our nut back up here just for safekeeping. All right, so now I'm gonna let it down and see if everything clears. I mean, it looks like it will. Let's see. Woo! Well, from this angle, it looks like it's not clearing. So hang on, let me show you. It actually is. All right, so I realized from that angle, it looked like it was not clearing. But let me show you. Ha-ha! The math does add up. Ha-ha. We have just enough clearance for the bolt and everything. Should be 100% good to go right there. So I can look at making some brackets now. So what I'm gonna do, excuse me. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replicate this bracket right here because it's got a nice flat top so I can come across the top with my airbag lower mount plate. So I'm gonna make 2 of these for each side. So I'm gonna cut out 4 of these out of 1/4 inch steel. And I'm gonna go ahead, will weld them together and then drill them together. That way the holes match up for the heim joint rod in. So let's get to cutting some steel. well, you see we got our brackets cut out. I clamped them together, threw a couple tacks on them. That way when I drilled them, the holes would line up perfectly. That way whenever I get ready to put them on the vehicle, everything lines up really nice and square. Now, obviously, I cut these by hand, so they are not perfect. So now the next step I'm going to go over I'm going to go over with a grinder and kind of pretty them up a little bit, just kind of even up the cuts so it doesn't look like, you know, complete amateur hour here. I'm not going to make you watch me do a bunch of grinding because, well, it's boring to do. I know it's boring to watch. So when we come back, I will have them separated, cleaned up, and ready to bolt together and stick up here and take a look at tacking them in place. So I'm going to go grind and we'll be right back. All right, well, I know that you'd love to see me do more. I mean, always, you know, everybody says, you know, you need to accomplish more per episode, and I wish I could, but, you know, in order to show you everything that I want to show you, it takes time, and it takes time to build these. I apologize for my voice. Me and my brother went to a No Prep Kings event over the weekend, and my voice is shot. That's why the narration was a little bit sketchy. I did the best I could, y'all. I'm sorry. Bear with me. Hopefully you still, you still enjoyed the content. You still enjoyed me seeing me build this thing out, and we're getting closer and closer, and the front suspension is really coming together nice. I'm really happy with how all the brackets came out, the rear bracket, everything bolts in place nice. I mean, you don't have to push and move anything. It sticks right up there. Everything goes together good, and I try so hard to fit everything up when I'm building it. So just for that reason, because sometimes things have to be serviced, things have to be worked on, things have to be changed. And if you're already starting with things in a bind, it's just not a good way to get the build started. So hang tight, stay tuned. Come back for more. Episode 73 be coming at you before you know it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment if you like, comment if you don't like. If you hate what I do, I'm cool with that too. Let me know. I don't mind if you hate watch. I'm here for it. So we'll see you in the next one.